For this season, I am thinking about and relating to the disciples during the feeding of the 5,000. It's a pretty familiar story for quite a few of us. And as I looked into it, it was interesting to find out that that miracle took place just a few days after Jesus had sent out the disciples. They had been walking together, he had been teaching them and training them, and he felt like they were ready to go out. And so 2 by 2, he sent them out. And they went out and they had really good results. There was healing, they were encouraging, they did some miracles, and they came back together right before this feeding of the 5,000 miracle happens. They're excited, they're telling Jesus about what had happened. And as he's seeing this, Jesus says to them, all right, guys, let's go rest. Let's go away to a quiet place and kind of have our own little disciples retreat. And so Jesus and the disciples set out to go take a break. As they do, there's been so much commotion around them and their ministry and everything that's happened that when they get to that quiet place, there is a huge crowd waiting there. We say that there's 5,000 in this miracle, but some scholars estimate that there were up to 20,000 people waiting there. That is half of Petco waiting when it's supposed to be the disciples' retreat, right? I cannot imagine that the disciples were too happy about all of this, given their reactions for the rest of the story. What we see is Jesus in this moment has that word compassion for them, that word that we've heard before that means he reacted from his heart, from his guts. He sees them like sheep without a shepherd. And so even though they were supposed to be on retreat, Jesus steps out of that and into ministering to them. We don't hear much about the disciples then until the end of the day. And they come to Jesus frustrated, tired, seeing this situation, 20,000 people, it's getting dark. There's no way for them to feed these people. And so they say to Jesus, hey, send them away. We need to get out of here. We got to get these people fed. Let's send them away. Jesus looks at them and says, well, why don't you guys feed them? And I love the disciples' response. I can relate to the disciples' response. They get frustrated. They get sarcastic. One of them says to Jesus, what do you want us to do? Get like half a year's salary and feed all these people? We can't do it, right? The circumstances that they found themselves in caused them to forget who they were walking with in Jesus. Given where they've come from so far, I would have loved it. I was thinking about this as I was getting ready for this. Wouldn't it have been so much better had Peter or Matthew or one of the disciples come to Jesus and said, hey, Jesus, we were talking. There's like 20,000 people here. We found 3 loaves and 2 fish. We dare you to feed these people, right? This feels like what they should have been capable of doing. We dare you to feed these people with what we found. But no. So out of their sarcasm, then Jesus says back to them, well, what do you have? That's the question, right? As we see Jesus in so many other stories, he finds himself into the situation with just a really good question. I would have loved to have seen these guys respond to Jesus saying, well, what do you have? And so they go collect 3 pieces of bread, 2 little fish, and they come to him and they're like, here's what we got. I love that moment because in that moment, Jesus takes what they have. And if you see this story, he models for them gratitude. He goes before the Lord, he prays, he breaks that bread, right? A forecast to the brokenness of his own body and the redemptive work that he will do, blesses what is there. And then the miracle is that over 15 to 20,000 people are fed and they collect more leftovers than what they even started with, right? So it's just this wonderful story. And where I connect is how often do I forget that I'm walking with Jesus when the circumstances of life close in? What I'm reminded of in this story is that it is not what I have to give. It's what he does with what I have to give. It's my willingness to hand that over to him. He takes it, blesses it, brings it into his redemptive work, and that's where the miracles happen. It's been encouraging for me, it's been hopeful for me, and I hope it is for you. Thanks so much.